Welcome back to JawnZone, guys. It's been a long hiatus, but just a reminder, I'm Chris Javon, and that
Hey
is,
man, Andre Kitchens, my new place. A little bit more light here,
Mhm.
but it's not looking as dreary as it was before. And
Yeah,
we're about to go get it.
yeah. Plus, I know you got a new camera set up, and the sound sounds a lot better. So it's good to have you here. I'm currently wearing our Division Champs jersey, or NMC East Champs from last year. What are you wearing there, Dre?
So me, man. So I took a trip to Tijuana a few months ago, and so what I'm wearing right now is a motherfucking Eagles poncho for Tijuana. It feels comfortable. I like wearing it around the house. I like wearing it around my place, and I just like the design and everything. You
Yes,
know.
I definitely like that. I would want to get one, but can't really go to Tijuana right now. Everything's closed down. So,
Yes.
a lot of interesting things happening lately. Hope everyone at home is fine with the coronavirus. But if you're not, we're pulling through for you, or voting for you to come back strong. Just think positive, and hopefully things will come back to normal, like Eagles football, Sixers basketball, and we could just get back to enjoying life. But we've also thought maybe this is a good idea to have another episode because coming back, there's nothing really going on, so anyone could use some more media to watch. We got a bunch of topics we want to talk about today, and let's get right into it. So, something that literally everyone online is talking about, whether you're a fan, whether you're a sports writer, whether you're a scout for the Eagles or GM of the Eagles, is the wide receiver problem that we have right now, and the draft coming up in a week or half a week. And we hope to have that solved by then. Since this offseason started, we got Darius Slay, and to me, that pretty much solves our cornerback issues because all of the guys that we did have weren't that bad playing the number two role, but asking them to be the number one target, it's not going to really work out too good. They couldn't handle the number one wide receivers or some speedy wide receiver.
I mean, yeah, because obviously we had Deshaun Jackson. I think that he was definitely a good fit as always, and we've had him before in a similar offense.
Yep.
But the injury history and injuries going on, he was not a viable target, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Neither or our other wide receivers. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey. To me, Alshon Jeffrey is more of a hands guy. Whereas he's not exactly going to be a deep threat, but for him as a possession receiver, he's very viable.
Yep.
But like I really not I'm not really disappointed in our offense or our team in general
Mm-hmm.
because of the injuries. I mean
Mm-hmm.
the injuries decimated us like totally twisted. And I'm just like not disappointed really at all. But I hope in this draft that we can get an outside receiver, a true outside receiver. Greg Ward stepped up, but like Greg Ward is not going to be a guy who we're going to like go to when the game's on the line.
Mm-hmm.
He's a nice step up. He's a nice addition, but we need a true outside receiver. So,
Yes.
Chris, man, I mean, I know like we talked about this before, where we are talking about like different options like Justin Jefferson
Mm-hmm.
and Henry Ruggs. Like, what should you go to for round one?
All right. I do want to talk about the position a little bit more because you touched on something that is crucial. Everyone online, I don't think, is understanding a couple of things about our issue. Last year, we lost a couple of games because Nelson Aguilar dropped the ball when we threw a shorthanded touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
Or like that's not something that you can really look at and say, oh, okay, we just need to add someone who's going to be, I guess, an okay receiver or a reliable receiver. We actually need somebody that will step up in the biggest way and put the team on his back if we need him to. And that's not going to happen with every single guy in the draft. Also, the people were starting to say this online, the scouts and the writers, but I don't know if they expanded upon it. they said that just because we have a deep wide receiver class doesn't exactly mean that every guy in it is going to be amazing. And like he was saying, I forget who it was, but online this sports analyst was talking about how if you are expecting to get, I guess, someone in your wide receiver two position, that's probably more realistic coming out of this draft. Another point that we have to talk about before we go into even who I want is the 2014 wide receiver draft. So that draft was apparently one of the best ever, and that's the general consensus around the league right now.
Yeah.
We waited in that draft, and we sat back and got like Jordan Matthews and Josh Huff. And both of those guys aren't in the league anymore. Jordan Matthews suffered drop issues his entire career. Josh Huff did basically nothing as a wide receiver, which is what we drafted him to be. So we really came out of that with nothing. And if we had just traded up into maybe the top 15 and gotten our guy, we wouldn't be worrying about this issue anymore. So,
Well, I mean, it's like we wouldn't be worried about this issue anymore.
Mhm.
But like we would have had other issues to worry about because, like, you know, if we drafted the top wide receiver, I mean, who knows what would happen? I mean, maybe you know we could have been in the how do I say this, like Odell Beckham Jr. situation where you know, we draft the top guy, he's very good, but like then that leaves like little room for us to maneuver for other positions. Like for instance, like if we're the guy of wide receiver in 2014 draft, right?
Mhm.
You know, would we have been in a position to get Carson Wentz?
Yeah,
You know, moved up.
I believe that Howie has the skill and the ability to suck people's souls to get what he wants in the draft. It's just a problem. He's not always the best at figuring out what's the guy to want, but he can definitely do that. And usually, these teams that are drafting in the top 10 every year are the bad teams with terrible management or management that's changing every other year. So
Yes.
I do believe he would have gotten it done. Maybe he would have like had to trade a player on the team, like let's say Trey Burton or something like that, someone that actually is kind of good, but was more of someone we didn't really need at the time.
Yeah.
Also, when we traded for Ronald Darby, I think we traded a first round pick or a second round pick.
Well,
Like
we
you just did,
traded.
in my opinion, we didn't have to do that at all. So Ronald Darby should have never been on this team. He never did anything for us. And then, like, if we hadn't done that, we would have had the ammo. And also, if we had done the Carson Wentz thing with getting that wide receiver, then I think that, you know, we probably wouldn't have traded a first rounder or whatever for Ronald Darby and would have avoided that nightmare.
Well, like, look, man, I think that the best thing that Ronald Darby did for us was to allow us to get rid of Jordan Matthews. Like that's what I think. Because, like, you know, Jordan Matthews just took up a roster spot. You know, say Jordan Matthews was almost like comparable to maybe a tight end, you know, or like maybe a weak slot receiver.
Yeah.
But that help us. Like, if anything, you know, if you wanted to look at the bright side of it, he helped us get rid of Jordan Matthews.
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I want to be clear. We don't have anything personal against Jordan Matthews. When we drafted Jordan Matthews, I was actually excited.
yeah,
But we'll go into more why looking at Jordan Matthews when he was coming out and being excited poses bad for some players that are coming out of the draft right now. But Jordan Matthews is a good person, and I thought that he was going to be decent and not unfortunately drop the ball in big moments or things like that, or stay healthy. It's
yeah.
unfortunate. Also, our medical staff was a joke at the time, maybe still is. So
So,
like you can blame a little bit of that on them. I have no problem throwing them under the bus. I mean, if you're taking care of someone's health and you're just not getting it right over and over and over again, and you hear some of the stories that are coming out about how they like intentionally lied to these players to get them to play through injuries or things like that, ruin their careers. I don't
yeah,
have any remorse saying that those guys are douchebags and bad people. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't. I'm
Like,
not gonna go out and be like civil and oh yeah, Jordan Matthews is a good player or a good person, you know, because I believe that. I'm not going to come up here and lie and say that those medical people are good people. You know,
Well, bro, I mean, because we had a stud linebacker, man. We had Jordan Hicks, right?
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Jordan Hicks, like for us, when he was able to be healthy, he was a good coverage linebacker. You know what I'm saying? He was a 3-down linebacker, and he did pretty much everything we asked him to do. And the only reason why we let him go was because of medical staff. So, like, he's with the Cardinals now, and, you know, he's one of the leading tacklers in the league. And it's almost as if his injury history doesn't really matter as much, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we could have kept him.
Mm-hmm.
We could have kept him. You know, we definitely could have kept him.
It was so much this medical staff getting it wrong for so many years because, like, usually later in your career, you don't become less injury prone. He's been like an Iron Man the past couple of years and been playing amazing. So, yeah, that's a big loss. But we did net a good compensation pick, I think, from losing him. So that was okay. Did we spend it on someone good? I would have to check. But now that we've gone over the background of wide receivers, why don't you actually tell me what your preferences in this draft are for wide receivers first?
Well, because, like, look, man, the way I see it is that, I mean, the obvious and the easy choice would be a wide receiver from the SEC, right? And we talked about this a bunch of times. I think that I really like the kid, Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I mean, you see him as a slot receiver, but I see him as, like, a guy who, you know, he has speed, he has talent, and he has durability.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, you know, if we were to, you know, draft him in the first round and, like, you know, not move up or get any picks for him, like, serve up any picks for him. Mm-hmm. But if he's there at 21, I think we should definitely grab him. You know, he has some outside receiver speed. At LSU, you know, he's coached very well at LSU. A lot of people don't really take that into consideration beyond the measurables. So him, Justin Jefferson, and then also KJ Hamler. You know, so if we cannot get Justin Jefferson, if we can't get Justin Jefferson, and, you know, somebody said something before, look, we just, like, you know, trade back to the second round and we pick a KJ Hamler and maybe, like, a linebacker or something like that. How about you?
Well, you know, I always respect your opinion, and if we do get Justin Jefferson, who I think will be available at 21, which is why most mock drafts are predicting that we'll end up with him, I will vote for him to do good. I hope he'll do good. But when I watch this tape, it does scare me a little. And there's a bunch of reasons why. And not just one reason. That's actually another reason against him, is that I have multiple reasons against him. But let me break down what I watched from the tape a little bit. So the majority of his catches were either at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, or 2 to 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. That is a great college-type offense, and you can obviously just outrun or outjuke college players, even if they're in the SEC. And I do agree that we probably need to get someone from the SEC who's used to that competition, but I'll also get to that point in a tiny bit. So basically, I don't think that he's actually going to stretch the field, and that's what we really need. So as a slot receiver is really where I see him. Even as a wide receiver number 2 on the outside, I still don't see him going down the field in any of his tape, which is concerning. Also, he played with arguably the best college quarterback in the NCAA history, and let's be honest with that. Also, yes, it is a benefit that he's going up against these LSU DBs every single day in practice. You know, they're cornerback U, or DBU, essentially is what they call it. But the thing about that is, okay, you're going against them in practice. You're not going against them in the games. You never played against those guys once, so obviously you would do a little better. And then another thing is, we did draft a guy from the SEC not too long ago, and that guy is named Jordan Matthews. So the thing is, like, Jordan Matthews coming out, the reason I was excited about him was kind of what you were excited about for Justin Jefferson. He kind of actually made up 50% of his offensive yardage, and he was on Vanderbilt, which played against SEC teams. he didn't have an all-star quarterback. He didn't have an all-star team, but he still produced against, top SEC talent every single game. And I
Like,
don't even think they went to a bowl game, so that means that he played one game less and had really good stats.
yeah, but
Also,
like see with Vanderbilt though, with Vanderbilt,
uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying? Like there's because like the SEC,
Hmm.
the SEC conference is not like they don't have any middle teams, right?
Hmm.
It's either in SEC you are good or you garbage. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's true.
Yeah, that's it. Like there's no okay teams. It's like either it's all or nothing. You
Yeah.
know, Vanderbilt was garbage.
Hmm.
I don't get me wrong. I mean, Jordan Matthews like put up the numbers and everything like that.
Hmm.
But I mean, you can kind of see how that translates to the NFL, where when he was playing for, like he never played for a team in the NFL that really had a legitimate shot at going far in the playoffs. And I would say that for the Eagles. Like he when he played for us, no, because like we had Chip Kelly.
Well,
Now,
we did what's it called? In Carson's rookie year, there
yeah,
was I remember the first game, we were doing the 2-minute drill in the fourth quarter, and we had just, I guess either made our first down or
yeah,
we were just about to march down the field, and we had like a minute and 40 seconds or something like that left. And Carson threw the ball to Jordan Matthews, who was
uh-huh.
beyond the 10-yard line. He would have gotten us first down on fourth down, and he dropped the ball. So, that's something that you really can't happen. And by that time, he was a veteran receiver. So, when it came to it, yeah, he would drop the ball, and he cost us a couple of games that season. Like, imagine if he'd just been consistent. He was dropping the ball the whole time. So,
Well,
you
I,
know, well, another thing about that is, how we said that or not Justin, Jordan Hicks and even Jordan Matthews, all
yeah.
the Jordans, I guess, they're not really they didn't do good with our medical staff, right? Oh, sneezing. So
Oh yeah,
yeah, those two guys didn't do good with the medical staff, right?
yeah.
So the thing is, I'm not shitting on Justin Jefferson. He could actually be a great player. I more see him as like a high reception number, but kind of low yardage, like 600 yards, and that's not really what we need, especially when you're trying to win in the fourth quarter, you need to stretch the field. But the
Well,
thing about the doctors is the same person who picked out the previous medical stats we've gone through, I think 2 or 3 in the past couple of years, the same person who picked those out is picking the new one. And
yeah.
Justin Jefferson doesn't strike me as someone who can be durable with our medical staff, which is why I really, for the wide receiver that we take, I want him to be a raw dog, like a strong guy, someone who's really tough. So someone more like a Jeremy Lamb, or is that his first name?
No, Jeremy. You talking about Jeremy? You talking about CeeDee Lamb?
CeeDee Lamb. Ah, crap. Yeah, I don't even know really the top draft picks' first names. I mean, Lamb is pretty cool last name, so that's basically all that you're going to be calling him.
Cool.
The other thing, so I want someone maybe like a Lamb that is going to be tough and durable. They say that he projects kind of like DeAndre Hopkins or Des Bryant, just maybe a little less strong and a little slower too. But the thing
Because
is, on that
question.
point, even though Lamb would be nice, it actually doesn't look like there's a top all-star, Pro Bowl, maybe Hall of Fame type wide receiver in this draft. Yeah, it's deep, but is there anyone who is as good as Calvin Johnson coming out, Larry Fitzgerald coming out, Julio Jones coming out? No.
Yeah.
So it's worrisome that if we don't go up and get the best guy available, yeah, the later guys that we get will be wide receivers too. What were you saying, Andre?
No, because what I was saying is that okay, because you brought that up, and we were talking about just Jefferson, you were talking about volume receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question, man, is okay, it's a legit question. It's who was our last volume receiver? You know what I mean? I cannot. No, volume receiver.
Value?
No. I say a receiver that had over 100 catches for us. A wide receiver. I can't remember.
Well, I told you I don't believe in getting that many receptions. Even Zach Ertz getting that many receptions, dude, you should be getting more yards, honestly. Because
Yeah,
You can get 100 receptions for 500 yards. That's not really that good. You can get 10 receptions for 1 yard in a game, and your PPR league value will go through the roof, but you got 1 yard. So receptions to me is an empty stat. I only look at yards.
I'm just saying, like a wide receiver, like not tight end or a running back or a hybrid player, like a wide receiver
Yeah,
who got like over 100 catches for us. Because like me, I
we
can't
did. We never really had that ever.
remember we had it, but like
I mean, To for 1.5 years.
yeah, 1.5 years. But like, look, man, all I'm saying is that maybe that's something that we could use, man, a volume receiver. Because, I mean, of course we had Zach Ertz getting his like record catches and all that. But like, look, man, I mean, like, we just have a receiver who could be a volume catcher.
Well,
Maybe that's what we need.
I mean, now that you say that, I do see it, and I do agree with that. My only thing is, it's kind of expanding on the medical issue. 100 catches for Justin Jefferson means 100 hits at least. So he's going to be going to the medical staff, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to whack your body part with a hammer as hard as we can and see if that hurts you." And then it's like, you just broke my freaking shoulder. So like, that kind of stuff is probably going on in the medical camp. We need to do something to get like, and let me tell you the guys that I want. If we trade up for Lamb, I don't think Lamb is going to be as good as people say, but for us, he would be what we need in terms of strength. I would want a Jeremy Lamb or a Chase Claypool. I don't really know about Denzel Mims because I don't know if he's actually going to come through with catching the ball, but he does have that strong mentality and strong body, and he's not afraid to use it. So if we get him, I kind of will be hesitant to say he's a good pick because he's so raw. But it's the kind of guy that we need, and maybe that's why we have been interviewing with Mims and why we have been like reportedly looking up to trade up to get Lamb. Howie Roseman might not be an idiot, and he might be looking at our medical staff and being like, I can't trust you guys. Like, we just need to get a freak that's like, indestructible, like a rock.
Honestly, bro, I think that if we're going to go for them, it's like, I don't think it's worth the pick. I mean, we already got our Arthur Whiteside, and Arthur Whiteside, I mean, like, I think that he can be that possession receiver that we need, but it's just that, with everything happening in the offense and the injuries last year, we couldn't really develop him. But like, if we're going to go out and get him, like, just like try to develop our Arthur Whiteside.
Mm-hmm. But I also got to say, I do agree with you, and I like KJ Hamler. We would have to probably trade up in the second round to get him. But adding him or Henry Ruggs, even though I just said we need, tough people, let's not talk about it because I don't want it to get out there and then some random offensive coordinator steals our ideas and passes off in his own. But me and Andre have projected this offense that would do amazing in pretty much any situation. You would need to draft possibly Ruggs and KJ Hamler to accomplish this offense. We're not going to go into what the offense entails. You can maybe guess what we're thinking about. But I would not be opposed to jumping up and get Henry Ruggs either because that kind of speed, Deshaun Jackson is not going to be on this team forever. We need someone to come in while Deshaun Jackson's still in here because if you listen to Deshaun Jackson, he's one of the best to do it when it comes to down the field threats because some of the things he does is waiting until the ball is released to, burst ahead and reach his top speed. So he takes people by surprise and blows past them. And there's all these other tips and secrets that he'd need to pass on to the next generation of a super speedy guy. So if we get that guy within a year or two and learn from Deshaun Jackson, we need to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that because, like, when you get the type of speed on the field, it's more than just about like going for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's so many intangibles. It's like when you have that speed on the field, like the defense has to change their entire scheme. You know? Like they got to play safeties back, linebackers. might have to like go drop more into coverage, but
Mhm.
like you change the entire like feel, and like that's the thing about it, man. You
Yeah.
know, I think Mike Tyson said something like, "Hey, man,
Mhm.
you know, everybody got a plan to get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your next thing is that fucking punch in the mouth."
Mhm.
And we,
Yeah, well, I agree. It's
yeah,
also, in our offense, you just need a downfield threat, not necessarily someone that you're going to throw to every single play, but
yeah,
just the threat of that guy downfield every single play is enough to change someone's defense. So,
that's that.
yeah. All right. So that pretty much covers it. I wanted someone like Lamb or Chase Claypool, someone who's going to be big, strong, and durable,
Yeah,
and also, having those speedy guys is a good thing. Andre wants Justin Jefferson, who I will still vote for to do good if we end up getting, but I just feel like, Zach Ertz kind of takes up that role that he would need to take up. So, yeah, going on. We're going to talk about, I guess, we got a couple other things. First, the coronavirus. So this is a scary time. We obviously wish everyone's doing good right now. But, if you want to post in the comments and tell us any crazy stories of things going on, people aren't the greatest at keeping 6 feet away. So
yeah.
keeping that in mind, Andre, when do you think the NFL is going to come back? Are we even going to have a season this year?
Look, man, I think that we will have a season this year.
Mhm.
I say because like the season obviously it starts in like September, right?
Yeah.
But I think that will actually depend on flattening the curve. You
Mhm.
know, and if we can see a downtick in coronavirus, deaths and also new infections and all that. Like, if we can flatten the curve, I think that we will definitely have an NFL season.
Uh-huh.
A lot of projections have been made. I mean, one projection was like 18 months, which is about the time that they're taking to develop a vaccine.
Mhm.
And a lot of companies are, in the pharmaceutical world, a lot of companies are like really working on developing vaccines or developing treatments.
Mhm.
But I think that, once we can find an effective way to flatten the curve, like we'll definitely be able to get to some type of normality, man. I mean, it might even come to a point where, okay, so, we have games, but like it might be limited seating just to like maintain social distancing if that's going to be something,
Mhm.
Like, we going to sell, instead of 8,000 tickets, we're going to sell like maybe 15,000. But
Mhm.
everybody got to stay 6 feet apart from each other. But there's so many turners that we can turn to.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
I agree with that. And also, just to be clear to people who are watching, flattening the curve means sticking to the plan and staying inside
Yeah.
for a long time. So if you see deaths lowering and then think, okay, let's end this probationary period where no one's going outside or we're all social distancing, things like that, then the curve will not be flat. It'll jump and spike back up, which is what we were trying to prevent in the first place, which would mean that we wasted all this time not doing anything and not going out and being locked inside of our places for nothing. We just did that for nothing. So, I mean, I honestly would want football to come back, but I would rather it be no fans in the stands at all if that assures that we're going to have a football season. Like, I would be completely for that. I want my football no matter what. Honestly, I would love to go to the games, yeah, but if I had to choose between like no football and some football, then I would choose some football with no one being able to go. So yeah, it's tough to just to understand when it's going to end or when people are going to figure out what to do with it, and then also not everybody's coordinating correctly with each other. Like governors are kind of doing their own thing, or they're forming small groups and regions when it's like, okay, you're just going to open up and the rest of the country is going to suffer and get sick because of that. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, yeah. Because like my question to you, man, is like, how do you think, without the crowd there, right?
Mhm.
I think that would affect the game, because like without the crowd there, it would just seem like a really like a scrimmage almost.
Yeah, but they were talking about methods of having users either sign in with their phone or online or something like that, and they could stream or watch the game like that. But also, they would pump fake crowd noise into they already do that at the Atlanta Falcons games. Like some of these teams are already pumping fake fan noise or crowd noises into their stadiums. It wouldn't be that much of a deal if they just admitted to it and been like, oh, well, we have this thing, maybe we can just do it.
So like maybe just something like, a trend, like maybe this could be a part of sports in the future, like some type of augmented reality.
Well,
Like,
yeah, they were already doing that with like one seat. It would be like the virtual reality seat. And then it's like a little video camera ball or sphere or something that has a camera looking in all directions in 3D. So like
yes.
you could go in there and they call it like the fan experience, and you have to wear like VR goggles or some shit like that. And yeah, it's like they were starting to do that. It's just that everyone was like, why would I do that? I want to go to the actual game, or I want to watch it with like my friends. Like, why would I isolate myself and just sit there? It's like going and eating by yourself. I just don't do that. And a lot of people don't do that either. Sure,
Yeah.
you have work or something like that, but it's a social thing to do. These are
Yeah.
all social events. Going to restaurants, going to sports games are social. So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
what were you saying to say?
Oh yeah. Because like, I mean, obviously with everything that's going on, it's really sort of like emphasizing being antisocial, right?
Mhm.
So for instance, like going to a restaurant and all that to get food with friends, but like there's also takeout. You
Yep.
know, maybe that would be the new NFL experience. Like maybe it'll just be for safety reasons, you or whoever with like their VR headset on. I mean, I don't know, man. I just hope that this doesn't really, change the game in that way.
Well, you're right, and the thing is, it's untested. So whenever anything is not really tested, then we're not sure about what's going to happen, and it's a little bit of a trial and error period. This NFL draft actually coming up has so many disastrous moments that could be happening. Actually, let's talk about that right after we talk about this subject. But yeah, one more thing I did want to add is that we are currently in the best position out of any single team in our division to come out and win this season. So it is crucial that this season starts on time this year. And I don't really want there to be training camp. No one really likes training camps or preseason games anyway. Not us, not the players. So,
Uh-huh.
like, is there really that big of a loss for us because we have an established culture of winning and going to the playoffs every single year with, like, hot dog vendors and grocery store clerks and things like that? Like, honestly, every other team in the division is installing a completely new offense. The only one that might not be is the Cowboys, but they still have a new head coach who's an offensive-minded coach and
Yeah.
offensive-minded. Like, he's really not that good. But,
No.
like, we need to start this season because we are in the best position. All of our guys, at least most of them, know what's going on, and they don't have to learn a new system. They don't have to learn a new language or anything like that. And we'll just be probably the best and walk our way to the playoffs. There's
Well,
other
yeah,
things that we got to worry about, but yeah.
yeah, because like, yeah, I see what you're saying, and I agree with you because like, we're actually in a unique position right now, whereas like our head coach is also our offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're bringing back like Marty Mortwig, but he's going to be an offensive consultant, if
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
But he won't have the reins on the offense. But like with Doug Peterson, this is fourth year with the team,
Mm-hmm.
or fifth year, yeah, fourth year with the team, and our offense is still the same as it was.
Yep.
And I think like we're more equipped for that because like we still have a lot of the same personnel that we had. Not to mention that we also have like Darren Sproles, who's going to be helping us out on the running game. You know what I'm saying? So he's very familiar with the offense. And then even though our defense, I mean, we brought Connor Barwin in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor Barwin, he was like familiar with the culture. He's familiar with the scheme. Not saying he was sort of like a Chip Kelly holdover, but like I mean, he will actually do good with like continuing our consistency. So
Yeah.
like yeah, we are set up in terms of consistency, and we are set up in terms of like cultural fit. You know what I'm saying? And like you have a lot of people who are buying into our culture, man, because like that's what it's all about for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Fucking Yannick Ngakwe, who's begging to be on our team, right?
Seriously, yeah. Some of these players you can see in their Instagrams or whatever, and yeah, they are begging to come here. They want to come here. Even before he turned into an a-hole, last year, Jadeveon Clowney was hinting strongly that he wanted to come to our team. So,
Yes.
like, people want to come to us, and we did get, another raw dog in a defensive line. Who knows if that's going to be, like, one of the best defensive lines in the league, and just that's something that brings you to a Super Bowl. But
Yeah.
also, let's talk about the draft now. So, a couple of things I want to note. A lot of GMs are anonymously leaking out that they're scared to death of this draft because they're not able to meet with these players. Their scouts aren't able to do anything. They're basically by themselves and doing it all themselves because the scouts aren't providing information. What can they provide? So that's good for us, maybe, if all these other teams are making wacky picks and just messing up and things like that. So, like, I mean, that's one good thing, but a potentially bad thing. People are saying that, there might be issues where someone hacks onto the live stream or something like that and starts cursing. Who knows? I actually think there's more issues just with connectivity. If you're thinking about it, all these teams are probably going to be logging onto the same server, or like they're using the same system to like phone in or whatever. And then also they said that any team that is currently making a trade will have extended time after their draft pick, and the draft pick will be delayed until that trade is done. But then like teams could back out, and then they're like, oh crap, now I have to pick someone. Like there's so many things that can go wrong, not even with just people trolling, just
Well,
logistically and their technology. Probably not going to work good. It's probably not going to work good at all. Like as a teacher, I teach and have to get a bunch of students on my different web chats and things. And the more people that log in, the more laggy everything gets and the more problems everyone has. But what do
well,
you have to add to that?
yeah. Well, I mean, well, I got to add to that. So, like, look, I just brought something up, right? So, for instance, right, I think the reason why there are a lot of these fairs is because, like general managers of the league are fairly like older people, right?
Yeah.
And so I just brought this up, right? Do you know who is the youngest GM in NFL history? Who's the youngest GM in NFL history?
Howie Roseman, right?
Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's fitted for this, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He is the youngest GM in NFL history. Other GMs, like, they're going to be thrown off by this draft because this is the first draft where you will not have physical contact, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, if anything, he got that psychological advantage. You know what I mean? Howie Roseman, 45 years young, the youngest GM in NFL history.
He's also got the technological advantage. Who knows? He could be like a secret hacker. He could be like
Yeah.
going around pinging everybody, ruining their feeds or whatever. And yeah, like, oh man, like he knows how to work a computer probably. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that. Probably more than some of these 70 or 80-year-old men that have
Yeah.
been, writing down recordings or stop watching time their whole lives.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, that's what it is, man. I mean, like, look, the only thing that's constant here is change, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that's constant. And, like, if you can adapt, then you won't last,
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think that gives us another leg up, whereas we got a guy who's, like, more adapted, more in tune with this, technology or with this draft.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people are worried about hacks and all that, but I don't think that will affect it significantly.
Yeah.
But I think that will affect a lot of like GMs in their war room, like, psychologically.
Yeah.
But like Howie Roseman, I got faith in him. I mean, you talk shit about him, it's kind of funny, but I got
No, like, yeah, it was a friendly banter. Like he has good moments and he has bad moments. And his bad moments include anything involving wide receivers, like drafting them. So hopefully he bucks a trend. But when it comes to tight ends, yeah, he's good. When it
Yeah,
comes to like, well, it's hard to really say who was in charge during Chip Kelly's year, because it's almost like, yeah, Chip Kelly had that 1 year by himself, but I'm sure the year before, Chip was probably pushing strongly to get certain guys. Like, you don't know what exactly is going behind the scenes, so it's hard to say. But actually, on what you were saying earlier with people being so nervous psychologically, you know, there could be a lot more teams willing to trade back or just stockpile picks in next year's draft or something like that because they're afraid to screw up this year's draft. So
yes.
trading up the draft value might be lower. We could trade up and get Lamb much easier and better. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think that's a good spot to be in, man, because like a lot of these GMs, man, they're older guys. You know, they're used to doing. A lot of them are actually used to doing deals with a handshake.
Yeah.
I mean, but like with this draft,
Mhm.
it's going to be very unique. It's going to be something totally foreign. You know, like the old tactics and strategies that were used before are going to be compromised because if you don't have the ability to adapt, then you're not going to be as effective as GM as you were before.
Yep.
So like, I think that yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of GMs might want to trade back, and I think a lot of them might want to trade back, is because like they don't really know what the future of the league is going to hold. And
Yeah. Even
yeah,
with the contracts, a bunch of players in this offseason took shorter 3-year, 2-year deals because in a couple of years, the television networks deals are going to be redone because this CPA or CBA that was passed
yeah,
gives more of a share to the players. So the cap is going to rise significantly once more money starts coming in. That money is going to be split up more evenly. So the players are like, why don't we just hold off until there and score big? But then again, you never know what could happen. Maybe the salary cap lowers or something like crazy happens. Who knows? So, yeah.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, because like like you don't want to jump the gun too early as a player
Hmm.
because like the NFL is constantly expanding in terms of like revenue and markets. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then on top of that, like they're playing in different countries. So like they're exploring new markets. So like players are smart to take short-term deals
Hmm.
and make sure that, really to realize the marketability of NFL in the future.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying? Like I remember even like 10 years ago, when we were in college,
Hmm.
where like, players were like getting 8-year deals and all that. But
Yep.
like that's not the case. It's like they don't know how big the school will get,
Hmm.
and when it does blow up or when it does get bigger, they are going to want a piece of that pie, and you're not going to get a piece of that. You're signing a long-term deal right now.
Hmm. Yeah. Plus, if you look at some of these other teams that have been going on, what was I actually going to say about that? You actually pick up for a second.
Oh yeah, yeah, no problem. Yeah, man. So because like you got the new CPA coming out in 2021.
Hmm.
What I'm saying? So like you know, but with that new deal, they have an extra playoff game, and so that's going to really bring the revenue up by significantly.
And I
An extra,
remember, I remember what I was gonna say. The funny thing about that showing what you're talking about, how you need to be smarter with your money. The best players of all time aren't always the ones that get the most money. You
yeah,
look at Sam Bradford and Kirk Cousins, mediocre to good quarterbacks, like not all stars, not world beaters by any stretch, not carrying their teams to the Super Bowl or anything like that, and they're making bank. Like they're really smart about it. And then also there's a little bit of luck because Sam Bradford came in like the last blown proportions rookie wage scale at the time. So yeah.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like Sam Bradford came in before the current
Hmm.
CPA.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, he came in where like rookies were getting contracts like veterans, man.
Hmm.
He came at the same time period
Bigger
where
than veterans. He was getting like 80 million guaranteed up
Guaranteed.
front. Like, and you know what? There is something to be argued for them getting a decent bit of change, especially as a signing bonus, because they weren't paid for college and just made $1 billion for all these other colleges and stuff, and got a bunch of injuries that they probably need back pay for. It's like they're probably in debt or whatever, getting in medical issues or things like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
like I don't mind paying them a decent bit, but like that was just downright ridiculous. Because if you get that pick wrong, your team is done. Like even if you didn't, like look at those teams, like Matt Stafford on the Lions, Sam Bradford on the Rams, Jamarcus Russell on the Raiders. None of those teams were doing good.
nah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, man, because like those teams weren't doing good at all, and
Not
yeah,
back then.
I mean, because like college football was like more of an advertisement for the skills, man.
Hmm.
So like pretty much what the new rule in college football is going to affect is that okay, these players can actually make money off their image.
Hmm.
So if anything, I think that they will actually push the market up for players. You know, that'll be better for players because like if you're able to earn money off your image while you're in school,
Hmm.
like then you can definitely adjust the market for that. Because like when these players are coming out of school, man, like when they're coming out of school,
Hmm.
like the market is only based on their potential and what other quarterbacks are earning. But like now that the NCAA is allowing them to make money off their image, like the market is going to be adjusted for that, and they're going to make even more money.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't be surprised within the next 5 years you got the $50 million per year quarterback. I
Uh,
wouldn't be surprised about that.
I won't either. And I don't
Yeah,
have a problem with that because they generate that much money. Let's be clear, guys watching at home. We don't go to the games to see the owner. We don't go to see the general manager. We don't go. I mean, like, there's sometimes you go to see a coach like a Mike Ditka back in the day or something like that.
uh-huh.
But you're going to see these players. That's what you're paying so much money to go see. That's why you watch online. We're not seeing GMs being drafted. We're not seeing owners being drafted. We don't care about those guys. In fact, those guys are usually the people that are getting in the way of our teams being good. All teams, not just the Eagles now. I'm talking about all teams. So
Yes.
enough with this, oh, it's the owner's money. They didn't generate that money. And they didn't pay for the damn stadiums either. We did. Like
Yeah.
they're just getting free revenue and things like that. Like it's just ridiculous. The backwards that people will go to defend billionaires that don't give a crap about you. Like, and the billionaires are the ones that are charging so much for parking and tickets and things like that. Like $10 for a hot dog. The players didn't make up that. The owners did. Like, come on, let's be real now. So if the money that's coming in is going towards people who are like getting brain damage from playing that we're enjoying, then yeah, they deserve most of the money. Like, let's be honest. So yeah,
Yeah.
just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
Also, moving on. So let's talk about the state of the team.
All right. So like if we want to talk about the state of the team, man, I think we need to talk about needs. I mean, obviously we have a need at wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
and which we are addressing, right? So I think I have faith in that. But like one need that we've really overlooked is like linebacker.
Well, then again, we overlook that every year, and we've been fine.
I mean, because it's funny, I mean, even as an Eagles fan, one person I've been looking at is Nate Gary. Man, Nate Gary has been a sleeper this whole entire time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been great for us, man. And then on top of that, he has all the measurables and for a great linebacker.
Yeah.
Because like we have a D line, but like one thing that I think that we'll struggle against is like tight ends. And I think that if we're going to have cover up that hole or patch that hole, we need great linebackers. And Nate Gary fills that hole, but like he's one of the most slept on players on the defense, man.
Yeah.
That's
And even the guy that we drafted last year that we were talking about, there was this guy from might have been Colorado or something. He was an undrafted free agent that
yeah.
we thought could be pretty good because he just slipped. So, with Jim Schwartz, you never know. He could be just, wasting our time with people worried about that. And he's like got a plan and everything's going to work out fine. He already has 2 or 3 guys in the building that are fine. We'll see how it goes. I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a linebacker. This
Yeah,
isn't a deep linebacker draft, nor are the linebackers at the top world beaters. So that's the only reason. There's 2 like first rounders, and then the rest are 3rd and 4th or 5th rounders. And yeah, like these 2 guys, they're not going to be Ray Lewis. Let's be honest. And
yeah, but I
hard to pick.
because like we lost 2 guys, man. We lost Kamu Hill,
Mm-hmm.
and we also lost Nigel Bradley.
Well, yeah, but we have guys, A, to replace them, but B, we picked up Jordan Hicks in the 3rd round. That is a very devalued position. I would not be surprised if those first-round graded linebackers end up dropping to the next round.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I can see that. And on top of that, I mean, there's always some linebackers like floating around. I mean, maybe get Von Miller on the Corona, on this count. I'm just fucking around. It's serious though. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is a serious subject, but we think that Von's going to be fine. Most of the people that are pro athletes have been getting it. It's kind of like the cold or the flu or something, but they've been fine. I'm not talking about retired athletes, but, Von Miller might be living near me right now. I live in Colorado. Not going to say specifically where, but I mean, we're not really getting bombarded with coronavirus cases like all of the other states, kind of because we're less populated and people are just naturally more spaced out here. But hoping everyone does good. So what else do we need on our team? I think we're fine at tight end. We're fine at running back. We're fine at – we could use a backup quarterback, actually.
A backup quarterback.
If we throw a 3rd or 4th rounder at a quarterback – and he makes the team this time, like Clayton Thorson or whatever didn't make the team last year. That was a complete waste of a pick. 5th rounder, maybe not going to be good anyway, but still a waste of a pick. But this year, would you be okay if we used a 3rd or 4th on a quarterback?
No, I wouldn't be okay. Because like there's so many like better quarterbacks going out there. Like for instance, like Joe Flacco, right?
Mm-hmm.
Better quarterback. Familiar. He's familiar with the area. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that he'll be a serviceable backup. You know what I'm saying? You got that. I mean, then you also have a few other quarterbacks like floating around there. For instance, man, I mean Ryan Fitzpatrick, backup quarterback extraordinaire.
I thought he re-signed though with the Dolphins.
Yeah, he re-signed, but like, look, I mean, we could still trade for him if we needed that.
Mm-hmm.
But like backup quarterback is like not really. I don't think it's like should be an area of concern.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like we can still like get some serviceable quarterbacks who are familiar with Doug Peterson's system. Mm-hmm. I mean, but like, how about you, man? Like, do you think that we should spend a draft pick on the quarterback or?
No, not again. Not after last year because like you were kind of saying, that guy coming in, if he had to play for us in the playoffs, he's not winning the Super Bowl. Nick Foles won us because he was already a good-ass starter before that happened. But we need someone, like a Joe Flacco. And Joe kind of reminds me of Foles a lot. Like, Joe's not fast. Foles isn't really that fast. They're pretty tall, lanky, strong enough arms, throw it deep. Joe Flacco's always had a really good deep throwing arm. So I would not be opposed to getting him at all, and then maybe he has to play a game or 2 and it'd be fine. All right, so that's fine. And pretty much our offense is just wide receiver. So what about defense? We kind of need a defensive end still. We did overpay Brandon Graham a little bit, even though he came through for us. I was kind of against either paying him that much or just not even moving on or trying to find someone better because he hasn't done as much since that. And we've been like really needing pass rush help. The other side, I don't even remember the guy's name. That's how unmemorable he's been. I used to think he was going to do great. He broke Reggie White's sack record at Tennessee.
You saw Derek Barnett.
Yeah, Derek Barnett. Where has he been? I mean, maybe, again, our medical staff is messing people's lives up.
It is because, like, I mean, he's been injured. Yeah, so like Derek Barnett has been injured a lot. Um, I think when he's played, he's been pretty consistent, but I mean, he just can't stay healthy on the field. And I like him. I think that we should definitely keep him because like his like developmental trajectory reminds me of Brandon Graham. When we first got Brandon Graham,
Mhm.
I mean, he was an okay guy, but like as the years went on, like he became more and more consistent, reliable. So for a defensive end, I think that it is one of the hard positions to develop, and I think that we just gotta stick with him. Because
Mhm.
like he has shown flashes, and he has been really good for us when he's been healthy. But I like him. I like Derek Barnett as the the weak side defensive end. I like him.
Well, I do like him. We could always use a backup, like a third rounder or something like that. Someone that will come in. Some of the guys that we do have were pretty good and showed flashes too, like Sharif Miller. He was from Penn State, good guy.
They
Another
short
what?
they short Hall.
Yeah, Hall. That was the other guy. Yeah, he kind of reminds me more of like a Mauler, and then the other guy is a little more like speed run, spin move type. So
Yeah,
I like those guys, especially backups. Who knows if they'll develop into new guys? But
like I think as long as we can keep developing our defensive line. I mean, for instance, like we got Malik Jackson from that.
mhm.
That's saying we got Fletcher Cox, we got Javon Hargraves.
Yeah,
So I think that we got those monsters in the middle. I'm saying? Yeah, I mean those monsters in the middle, and Derek Barnett and Brandon Graham, they'll eat.
they should, and that's the theory. So
Yeah.
I do have confidence in our defensive tackles. Maybe they're the ones that are going to put up 10 sacks this year. But that's never something to rely on. But we have the guns now. Our team is loaded in that position.
Loaded, man. And then
Yeah.
we got Darius Slay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So like from what I heard about our defensive scheme is that it's gonna be a hybrid, right? Where Darius Slay is gonna be playing man to man, and then the other guys will be in zone. But like Darius Slay is gonna be have his own island. Yeah, I'm saying because like he wants that, he needs that.
Yeah.
Guys like saying like we got some serviceable guys. I mean, we got Crevon LeBlanc, who I think will definitely step up and slide. I'm saying? We got Bonte Mannix, who will be like, play outside corner in some ways, but we got guys that individually they may not have the measurables, but together, in the zone, like they're going to kill shit. They're going to kill everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Darius Slay shutting down one side of the field. We got the D line that's going to be rushing, and then on top of that, we got other players who will be in the zone, and we're going to be pretty good on defense. Like that's all I can say.
Yeah, we should be. And then even Will Parks coming in as safety. I'm not
Yeah,
so sold on Jalen Mills being a safety, but yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. And then if this year doesn't work out too good, next year we could be drafting safety with our first round draft pick.
it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I like Jada Mills as safety. You know what I mean? Because like one thing like when he first started, dyeing his hair green and shit like that, I was like, all right, look, man, he's kind of lame. But like as the years went on, I was like, look, man, we have something, right? He was a cornerback drafted in the 7th round, and like even though he wasn't the top pick or anything like that, he always had heart. And what I mean by heart was that like psychologically or mentally, he never felt defeated. I mean, he's been up against like some good receivers. I mean, he's always like good against like Julio Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like maybe almost like half a foot taller than him. But like, he's always showed up for that. And that's what we need for safety. We just need somebody to be there. Yeah, or we need somebody that's going to step up. And I think that he'll step up.
Okay. I mean, I'm just not sure about his injury history, so that's the only thing I'm worried about with our medical staffs.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously, we got a different medical staff. But the medical staff, I mean, because like I kind of like how management identified that as a problem, and they identified that, and like now they're trying to remediate or remediate that. So I like that. You know, I don't know how it's going to work out, but at least they're doing something about that. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, because that span was been holding us back the past like 2 years. You know, or years. Like it's just been the injuries, man. And half our defense was injured for the last 2 years, and we still made it. But like, if we can just have people there on the field, I think we can go far, man.
Well, having this coronavirus, everybody at home might help with those injuries because they're honestly getting more rest this year than they probably ever have. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we have, though, on what we're talking about the state of the team then.
Yeah.
Who scares you in this conference?
So I gotta say, there's actually one team that kind of scares me, man. And actually, I wouldn't say scare me, but like it seems that we have to be concerned about. For instance, like I would say that we had to really be concerned about the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because of like Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady, 43-year-old quarterback. I don't think he really got the arm in him, but it's about like the people he'll attract. You know what I mean? Because like guys are lining up to play for the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
You know, on both sides, on offense and defense. So like with him, you know, you got to worry about that. Like you got to always worry about like, you know, teams gravitating toward him. And then on top of that, it's not like, you know, because he left the Patriots, like he got rid of all of the culture.
Yeah.
He's taking that culture with them. And the Patriots culture is a winning culture, you know? I mean, I'm not going to like, you know, I'm not going to be, you know, talk about enumeration with the Patriots and all that.
I mean, I will talk shit on them. They
Yeah.
got caught cheating last year again. And there's people out there that are so full of it that are like, oh well, you know, it wasn't cheating, or like they got caught, but it wasn't that. Like, how is it not them? It's their staff. They got caught before doing this. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you get caught twice. It's not like, oh, you can pretend that it's some innocent mistake. You got caught cheating. And I haven't heard anything about that. They said that, oh, we're going to push it to the off season. I think they were just waiting till everyone forgot about it so they can just brush it under the rug like they did last time. They're consistent cheaters. They had Edelman using the steroids and getting suspended for that. And then he won the Super Bowl MVP. They had Tom Brady cheating, deflating footballs even when he didn't even need to. But he was still doing it. And you're not going to have some rogue guy going and messing with a quarterback's footballs without that quarterback knowing about it. You're not just going to do that in case it's something that he doesn't like when he gets into the game. And this is like the most anal quarterback of all time. So, yeah, like they're a bunch of cheaters. They've been cheating since they started. And I don't want to hear anybody even like suggest to me that they're not. Everything that they have has been built through cheating. So they're not even like a winning culture to me. They're a cheating culture. So you want to talk about that? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, because like, look, I mean, the way I see it is that they'll do anything to win. You know what I'm saying? So like, and the thing about this with Tom Brady, right? In the 20 years that he's been quarterbacking for the Patriots and quarterbacking in the NFL, this is the best wide receiver like group that, or it's the best wide receiver group that he will have. You know, don't be wrong. I mean, he had like Randy Moss and who was that wide receiver guy?
Wes Welker. I mean, he had Randy Moss, Wes Welker, and he might have even had Gronkowski all on the same team. Come on. That's the best tight end of all time, arguably the best wide receiver of all time, arguably the best slot receiver of all time.
Yeah.
It's comparable, but I'd say they're about the same.
But like Marcus Goodwin, you know, Marcus Godwin.
Yeah.
You know,
Chris Godwin.
Yeah, Chris Godwin. My bad.
That's fine.
But like, look, man, this is gonna be the best like wide receiver group that he has ever had. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, he's down there in Florida. You know, he's a good weather. I say because like Tom Brady is a California guy. You know what I mean? So like he got that going for him. The warm weather, he got the wide receivers. The defense is like somewhat decent, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They're going to be pretty scary. It'll be scary, but I think we beat them. And then besides them, I would say another team that in the NFC.
Wait. Well, let me tell mine first then
Okay.
before you go into it, because I don't want you to say it and then I'll be like, oh, I thought of that first. So
All right.
let me ask. Well, I got to first say, yeah, I think that the Buccaneers will be pretty competitive this year. The only thing is Tom Brady, his winning culture was playing against losers every year. Played against the worst division in football every year. They had what? I think like three. Now they've had 5 different times where a team other than the Patriots in that division made the playoffs in the past 20 years. Like the Jets made it twice. The Dolphins made it like twice. The Bills made it twice. That's like 6 times. Like they never had a competition for even the division title with Tom Brady as their quarterback. He had to like die on the field. And then Castle came in there for them to lose the division. Now he's going against Drew Brees twice a year and Sean Payton twice a year. Now he's going against, the Carolina Panthers, and although actually they kind of been dismantled. But then he also has to go against their Matty Ice again. He's probably going to be pissed off, Julio Jones, so that might be interesting. Well, they're probably going to suck too. But moving on to who I'm scared of, Andre, who has been outside of our division, like the team that gave us the most trouble in the past 10 years?
Yeah, the Seahawks.
The Seahawks. That's who I'm worried about.
Yeah, the
Seahawks. Is that who you were going to mention?
Dude,
was that who you were going to mention?
Like, were you about to say? I was about to say, look, were you about to say something? I want to interrupt you.
Oh, no. I was asking you, was that the thing, or was that the team you were going to mention?
Actually, yeah. Because, like, bro, it's something about them, man. It's like, look, I don't know. It is Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
right?
You do know. It's the mobile quarterback. We just can't really handle a mobile quarterback. The reason we beat Aaron Rodgers last year is because he's not really that mobile anymore.
Yeah, but it's right. And then it's like, it's not like, all right, he's a regular mobile quarterback, you know? You know what I'm saying? Because like in the past, like Michael Vick, Dante Culpepper, shit like that, mobile quarterbacks, right? But we've been able to handle them. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson is the most annoying fucking mobile quarterback. He's the most annoying. Like, when he takes the ball, right? I have never seen a quarterback do this. The ball would snap, right? He would turn his back toward the defense and run toward, like, the opposite direction. Turn his back. And then he'll, like, roll around. And then he'll just, like, bootleg it out to a wide receiver. And, like, dude, our teams have been better than the Seahawks in the past. Like, they've always been better. Yeah. But, like, dude, we haven't beaten him ever. Like, we have not beaten him.
I know.
We are better. Like, we just haven't beaten him.
He's just an escape artist. He's really small, so you can't really see him. But also, he's so good at connecting with his wide receivers. They're also really good at just getting open after the play breaks down. Like, you just think about it, frustrates me. If there's a silver lining, though, if you look at last season in the playoffs, we should have won that game with Carson Wentz. Our defense stepped up enough and held them to 17 points. That was good enough to freaking Josh McCown with a torn hamstring off the bone was able to get down to their red zone like multiple times. We would have definitely won that game and maybe gotten that monkey off of our back. But Jadeveon Clowney, man,
dude, yeah,
wasn't even penalized. Like, what they claim to be about player safety and shit like that. Don't even penalize a guy for helmet-to-helmet contact. One of them was jumping head first. Like, come on.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. Oh my god, dude. Yo, but like he got injured that game. But like then Carson Wentz get injured like 2 years ago. We played them in Seattle.
Yeah, no. He got injured in the Rams, but we lost against the Seahawks.
Yeah, in Seattle.
Unless he got a concussion. That might have been a game he got a concussion for. But I just
I,
remember we actually went to a Seahawks game, me and Andre. The Seahawks came to town.
yeah,
Chip Kelly was our coach, and it was the worst game I had ever seen in my life. They were just toying with us, and Chip Kelly kept on not even trying to throw the ball downfield. He never threw it past 5 yards once. And I was just like, this is a joke. We wasted our time. It was freezing that day. It was freezing cold, like frigid, but it wasn't snowing, so it wasn't like magically a little warmer. It was like to the bone cold. And then the people like who are serving drinks or whatever are like, oh, you can't stand underneath the heat vent because maybe someone will come up even though no one is. And by the way, we're out of hot chocolate. Would you like some cold chocolate? No, I wanted hot chocolate. Like, what does it matter with you guys? Like, oh, you're not even going to help me. Like, maybe they were just messing with me. But
that was so fucking annoying. And like the annoying part about that game was like, all right, it wasn't a game where all right, we were definitely losing, and so it's like, all right, man, let's just leave right now. No, it was like,
yeah,
we were,
it's teasing us.
but like it's cheated. Like this, they just kept you holding on.
Yeah. And then, like,
But
yeah, like, I don't have a problem with their players other than they beat us. Like, I never hate Russell Wilson as a person or Richard Sherman or Cam Chancellor or who was the other safety that they had? Earl Thomas. I always thought he was a good player. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, but they have our number, and it's really annoying. Like, what the heck? We need to be able to beat them. Like,
yeah, we gotta dust them off, man. Like honestly, we had to be able to beat them because you know every team in the league, like right, we had a chance against, but like with them, every time we played them, it's always that like you know, all right, we're sort of still in the game, but not really, and so the game's like drags on. Like I've never liked playing them, like ever. Every time I play them, it's fucking dreadful.
yeah.
Like we need to blow them the fuck out. Like I want them being blown out.
Yeah.
You know?
That fan base, yeah, like your 12th man or whatever, we're coming for you. And Fletcher Cox and Hargrave and Malik Jackson are going to finally get it done. Your center and your guards are going to be the source they've ever been after the next time we play you guys. So watch out. We've been hungry too. Like, I mean, it's funny because even with all of our supposed rat and dysfunction in the locker room, we have a strong enough organization that we still make the playoffs and the players still come through at the end of the season. By the way, people out there thought that the rat is, Alshon Jeffrey. Brian Baldinger came out and said that he's close with a lot of people in the locker room on a personal level. And the 2 seasons ago, the first thing he knows for sure that was not made by Alshon. And then this past year, I'm strongly suspecting it wasn't him either. I think it was Nelson Aguilar. If you look at like the times that it came out, Nelson had been doing terrible. And like the first game that we had last year, I think he had like 1 pass caught or only 1 target or something like that. And he pretended to not be upset about it. Yeah, he was upset. All of the comments that he was talking about generally would be targeting him. He hated going deep and catching the ball. So he was talking about, oh, you need to dump it off or things like that to my slot receiver position. That guy, oh my God, like I am done with him. Nelson Aguilar is out of our town. Like, and people who are still holding on to that, oh, he did good in the Super Bowl or whatever, and he did good in that season. Yeah, he did good. He didn't like set the world on fire or anything. Like Alshon Jeffrey in the Super Bowl is really the guy who turned it up and was dominating. Yeah, Nelson caught a bunch of short passes or whatever, but still, like, we could have had anyone else do that.
Yeah, man, because like it probably was Nelson Aguilar. You know what I mean? Because like obviously he was like an outside receiver, but then it's like, look, we'll do it in the slide. And I think that he took a little issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, anyway, with him, he's on the Oakland Raiders. I think that if we would have kept him as slot receiver, he would have been okay, but he's not an outside receiver. Like, that's just not who he is. So, but But I'm kind of glad that he's gone because like it won't be a question about that anymore. Because like I think that was really a big distraction, you know. Because like, supposedly he was a fast receiver on our team, minus Sean Jackson. But I mean, obviously that didn't really translate well.
No, and that was another high pick on a basically slot receiver who couldn't catch. Like, we wasted that pick and could have gotten someone good that year too. Why was he our first round pick? I don't know. And I remember when they were coming out, his interview when he got picked by us and stuff, people were saying, "Oh, I know, Chip Kelly picked him because he's so like really like good natured or good mannered and spoke like a gentleman and a true team player, whatever like that, because he was really like modest or whatever." And then comes out, he's like a straight asshole. Like, so like you can never believe that stuff. And Chip Kelly got fooled because he was an idiot. Oh, I'm just going to pick the most clean cut guy, even though that guy is literally lying to me to make money. Like,
Well,
you get that?
yeah, because like with Chick Kelly, man, I mean, it's like he was like picking guys based on what you would want for a college football team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like that's what it was. Like, look,
Yeah.
you need dogs, man. Like you need dogs in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like, you know, you need some like straight up, you know, violent dude who's like very volatile, but you need some people who are hungry and aggressive.
Yeah, you need like LeGarrette Blunt running down the Patriots' throat in the Super Bowl because he's pissed off they cut him and they didn't give him a contract. You need Alshon Jeffrey predicting that we're going to win the Super Bowl as soon as he got to our team because he saw us. And you got Fletcher Cox just destroying people, and that's all he has to do. He doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
Also, be careful if you live around wherever Fletcher Cox lives. Just don't introduce your wife to him, and you should be fine. But
it's like, look, man, the thing about Chick Kelly was that I say he was intimidated by the type of guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he straight up was. Actually, he tried to trade Fletcher Cox in the first round for Marcus Mariota. Like, the guy has done like nothing. Like, seriously.
Yeah, because like he can't handle certain personalities. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the reason why. Because like, you know, he can't handle people who got that person, like, you know, I wouldn't say dog type personality, but like really aggressive, you know, really aggressive personality. Like, and that's what really did him. Because like you can't have a team. I think you know, one guy sitting on the Seahawks, man, Michael Bennett, or he said, look, you can't have a team full of Russell Wilsons, man. And like, you know, like he wasn't disrespecting Russell Wilson. I mean, you know, that's your starting quarterback. That's a good guy. You know, I'm saying intelligent, well versed, and you know, got straight head on his shoulders. So like, look, like that's good for a starting quarterback. But like when you talk about defense and all that, like you need some fucking dogs there, dude.
Yeah, and that's actually why I remember him saying that. And that's why it was the worst decision to let go of all of their best defenders. Sure, they're making the playoffs still and having our number, but are they winning the Super Bowl or even making it to the Super Bowl? No. I don't even think they've made the championship game since the early part of this decade or the last decade. Shit, 2020 now. So, like, like, honestly, it's impressive the way they stayed together and had some success, but it wasn't nearly what you want.
Yeah, because that's true. Yeah, because like it wasn't everywhere you want. Look, I mean, you know, they got a good culture and you know, they have a good coaching and all that. But like the truth is that like, look, man, you need that edge. And that edge is gonna come from, you know, some dudes who aren't very pleasant.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we're not saying go get Greg Hardy or Allen Smith like the freaking Cowboys. They're just signing dirtbags and hoping that they're like good at football, like, honestly. But yeah, that's why in the first round I was not feeling Justin Jefferson. I want somebody who's going to throw people away from him, like going to run through people. And Justin Jefferson, he's got speed, he's got like size, but is he like super strong and gonna like knock somebody over, especially when it comes to blocking? Like, and it's also, I don't see him like standing over that guy afterwards, like telling him what's up. Like, I just knocked him out, dude. You really know what's going on. Like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, and the guy's like, I'm getting paid to do this, you know, barely breathe. So yeah, like I mean, well, that's how I hope we end up going with our wide receiver in the first round. Watch us
Uh,
pick. Watch us pick like I don't know, like a punter or something like that.
but
I mean, and also, if you guys really want to see me in the NFL, I'm actually training right now to try out to be a kicker. So anyone wants to see me like do that, sure, go ahead and give me some advice how to get in contact with these teams or whatever. But yeah, it's like no reason not to right now, and I've always been able to kick back in the day like longer than 50-yard field goals. So like, why not try? You know, can't hurt.
yeah, do your thing.
Mm-hmm. And Andre is trying out to be a professional beer drinker and alcoholic drinker. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean that's just joke. I mean we're pretty much wrapped up for today and all of our topics. I had fun coming back, and hopefully we'll have more time to do it in the future. Last semester, I'm still a college professor, and I just got so busy with all my classes that I just had no time whatsoever to get on. So now that we have a lot more time and stuck at home, you know, maybe this will be a recurring thing. I had fun here today. How about you, Andre?
Yeah, man, it's pretty fun, you know, drinking, getting on my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we're going to leave you at that. So, peace. Make sure you guys are staying healthy, keep away, and have your social distance between 6 feet. Doesn't matter if you're both going to pick up food from the same location. Like, even two separate people and you don't know each other, just stay away. So, yeah, be careful out there.
Yeah, and be safe always.
All right. Peace, guys.
Peace. Joy.
JawnZone.